Just when the Golden State Warriors thought they had turned a corner, disaster struck. Steph Curry, the heart and soul of the franchise, went down in a heap during Thursday night's game against the Toronto Raptors. The Chase Center fell silent. Fans held their breath. And now, for the first time, Steve Kerr is breaking his silence on what could be a season-altering injury for the Warriors. This is the story you don't want to miss.
Kind of getting closer and closer to him. You want the first pass out. If it's to a shoot, you got to be right on him.
Steph threw it to Kuminga. Steph is grabbing his back, and he's laying in the lane.
It was the third quarter of a tight game against the Toronto Raptors. Steph Curry, fresh off a one-game rest, was in rhythm. He had already dropped 17 points on an efficient 6-8 shooting. But then, the moment every Warriors fan dreaded unfolded right before their eyes. Stephen Curry, in his usual fearless style, drove aggressively toward the basket, weaving through defenders before dishing out a quick pass. Just as he released the ball, two Toronto Raptors defenders closed in on him, trapping him in a tough position. In the chaos of the play, Curry lost his balance and came crashing down hard onto the court, landing directly on his tailbone. Immediately, the pain was evident. Curry clutched his lower back, his face contorted in discomfort. He stayed on the floor for a few moments, trying to process what had just happened, while his teammates and fans held their breath. The lively energy inside the arena quickly shifted to silence as everyone realized something wasn't right. Slowly, Curry got to his feet, but it was clear he wasn't himself. He took a few careful steps, wincing with each movement before making his way toward the locker room with the team's medical staff by his side. Hope lingered that he might return, but as the game went on, it became clear. Curry was done for the night. The Warriors had to finish the game without their leader, while the uncertainty surrounding his injury cast a shadow over what should have been just another night of basketball.
A foul, and you got to stop the game, and Curry is in major distress.
It might be tailbone. He fell pretty hard.
Oh, man. He went down.
After the game, Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr spoke to the media, and his comments reflected a mix of concern and cautious optimism. He acknowledged the uncertainty surrounding Stephen Curry's condition and emphasized that the team is taking every precaution to ensure his health. Kerr explained that Curry is undergoing an MRI scan to assess the severity of the injury and determine whether there is any serious damage. He just kind of fell on his pelvic tailbone area, Kerr shared, describing the play that led to the injury. While Curry initially believed he might be able to return to the game, the team ultimately decided against taking any risks. He thought he might be able to come back, but we decided not to risk anything, Kerr continued. Hopefully it's not bad. His words suggest that while there is hope for a minor injury, the team won't take any chances with their star player, especially with the playoffs right around the corner. The Warriors will be anxiously awaiting the MRI results, as Curry's health will play a major role in determining their postseason fate.
And we just decided not to risk anything, and so hopefully it's not bad, but he's getting imaging right now.
He had a similar injury, you probably remember, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him at all?
I have not seen him. He's
With just 12 games remaining in the regular season, the Golden State Warriors have one clear priority: keeping Stephen Curry healthy. As the team's leader and biggest star, his presence on the court is crucial for their success. Right now, the Warriors are clinging to the 6th seed in the highly competitive Western Conference, but their position is far from secure. The race for playoff spots is heating up, and any misstep could cost them dearly. One of their biggest threats is the Los Angeles Clippers, who are surging at the perfect time. They have won 4 straight games and are closing the gap quickly. If the Warriors slip up, the Clippers could easily overtake them in the standings. That's why Curry's availability is so important. If he misses too many games due to injury, the Warriors could struggle to stay in the playoff picture. Without their star player leading the way, their postseason hopes could take a major hit, making these final games even more critical. Unsurprisingly, Warriors fans took to social media to express their concern. One fan commented, "I'm not gonna lie, my heart sank right when Steph fell. I was so scared, but I'm glad that he's just okay. Seeing how competitive Steph is, he'd want to come back as soon as possible, but he should take a game or a couple of games off to recover. He's one of the biggest key pieces of the team, and I really do not want him to hurt himself even more. Another wrote, "If Steph was feeling like he could maybe return to the court, I have high hopes for him." But not everyone is convinced. Some analysts are questioning whether Curry, at 37 years old, can bounce back quickly from yet another injury. Let's not forget, this isn't the first time Curry has dealt with injuries. Over the years, he's battled ankle issues, knee problems, and now back and pelvic discomfort. Yet, time and time again, he's defied the odds, returning stronger than ever. But with the playoffs looming, the Warriors can't afford to rush him back. As one former teammate put it, Steph is the engine that makes this team go. Without him, they're just another team. Here's where things get spicy. Many fans and analysts are pointing out that Curry's injury could have been avoided if the referees had blown the whistle. NBC broadcasters didn't hold back, saying, "It was a foul that was missed somehow. We're not surprised with Steph, unfortunately." Replays show Curry took a hard hit from the Raptors defenders, but no foul was called. This has reignited the debate about how Curry is officiated, with some arguing that he doesn't get the same respect as other superstars. So, what's next for Steph Curry and the Warriors? For now, it's a waiting game. The MRI results will determine the next steps. If the injury is minor, Curry could be back on the court in a week or two. But if it's more serious, the Warriors might have to face the harsh reality of navigating the playoffs without their two-time MVP. One thing's for sure, Steve Kerr and the Warriors will err on the side of caution. As Kerr said, "We're not going to risk anything."
And that's on us as a unit to pick up the slack for him. He's, as everybody wants to think that he is superhuman, he is not. He is our leader.
Jimmy Butler just exploded on a teammate, and Steve Kerr didn't see it coming. The Warriors' shocking loss to a short-handed Nuggets squad sparked a fiery courtside clash that has the NBA buzzing. Cameras caught Butler confronting Buddy Hield in a moment that instantly went viral. Was this just tough love, or is there deeper trouble brewing in Golden State?
Post missing that three, but Moody with the rebound. Jimmy Butler from deep. Okay. Since he's joined the Bucks, but he is another scoring option. Kyle Kuzma coming over in the Middleton trade, and how about Quentin Post? And a nice feed from Jimmy Butler.
Butler, known throughout his career for his fierce competitive spirit, couldn't contain his frustration as he watched teammate Buddy Hield pass up open looks during the third quarter. As the buzzer sounded to end the period, Butler approached the struggling sharpshooter with an intensity that cameras captured in vivid detail, creating a moment that immediately dominated social media.
Make that push. Shot clock at 3. Podziemski floater in. This perfect night continues. 4-4. Get it and go fast before the defense knows what hit him if you're Podziemski. Thomas again. Big-to-big screening for Brook Lopez. And Antetokounmpo laying it in and drawing.
Nothing basketball trying to win. I honestly don't even remember, but whatever it was towards winning, Butler explained after the game. I mean, got a lot of respect for Buddy. I know whatever we saw, which probably in agreeance on it at that, but it was all towards winning. The heated exchange wasn't random. It was Butler's signature leadership pushing teammates toward excellence. He doesn't expect Hield to make every shot, but to trust the system that built the Warriors' dynasty. Hield's struggles are a growing concern, with his three-point percentage dropping to 35% in March, a major dip for a player relied on for elite shooting. Butler's confrontation might seem intense, but it supports Kerr's system of quick passing and confident shooting. Hield's hesitation throws off the team's rhythm, making Butler's leadership even more important. With the Warriors holding the 6th seed and facing pressure from the Timberwolves and Clippers, every game and Butler's energy matters for their championship dreams. But Hield's shooting struggles aren't the only concern for Kerr and his coaching staff. Stephen Curry, the engine that powers everything Golden State does, showed signs of fatigue during the loss to Denver. The two-time MVP finished with an uncharacteristic stat line, 20 points and 7 turnovers, far below his usual standard of excellence. Steph looked tired tonight, and you could see it in some of those turnovers, Kerr said after the game. He's carrying a huge load for us, and we've been on this road trip with 3 games in 4 nights. He's human. He's not going to be at his peak every single night. Of those 4 turnovers, a couple of them were just sloppy, not like him. I think he's feeling it physically right now, and it showed. Let's see what Kerr said.
What you pinpoint most
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to win an NBA game when you throw the ball to the other team 10 times, and that's what we were facing tonight. And you know, they played a great game. At the minute we heard all those guys were out, it's like, all right, guys, here we go. You know, we've seen this a million times. This is how it works in the NBA. The other teams, guys are going to go nuts. They can't wait to play. There's no pressure, and so we've seen it a lot. And you know, we didn't respond right away. You know, we played poorly out of the gate and never found rhythm. And they played great. The right team won. You know, we didn't deserve that. We were.
But wait, there is more. Coach Kerr has a tough choice. Give Curry rest before the playoffs or keep him playing to secure a good spot in the standings. The Warriors believe in teamwork, not just star players, and Butler's talk with Hield was all about that. For the team to succeed, Hield needs to take his shots without fear, even if he's been missing lately. Butler has fit into the Warriors' culture better than expected, despite concerns about his blunt leadership style. His win-first mentality aligns with the team's values, even if it leads to intense moments like Tuesday's clash. The incident also highlights Hield's struggles. Once a confident shooter, he now hesitates, second-guessing his game. Butler's confrontation aims to reignite the aggressive mindset that made Hield a key asset. Golden State's coaching staff has tried various approaches to revive Hield's confidence: extra shooting sessions, simplified play calls, and different rotation patterns. Butler's more direct method might prove to be the catalyst that finally breaks through, especially coming from a teammate rather than a coach. Players often respond differently to peer pressure than they do to coaching instructions, and Butler's status as a 6-time All-Star gives his words additional weight.
Or do you remember that?
Yeah, just overall execution. You know, body language was bad. These are always tough nights. Like I said, you go into a game and the other team's best players are out, and it's like there's like this natural letdown. Even though you raise it, you bring it up, you talk about it, but you know we got what we deserved for sure.
As the Warriors look ahead to their upcoming slate of games, Kerr faces dual challenges: finding rest for his exhausted superstar while also maintaining the team's position in a crowded Western Conference playoff picture. The answer may lie in getting more consistent production from role players like Hield, which is exactly what Butler was demanding during their heated exchange. The timing of Tuesday's confrontation is particularly significant given the calendar. With the regular season winding down, teams are positioning themselves for postseason runs while also addressing weaknesses that could be exploited in 7-game series. For Golden State, Hield's shooting and Curry's energy reserves represent two critical variables that will determine whether they can make another deep playoff push. Butler's history suggests that his confrontational approach often yields positive results. During his tenure with the Miami Heat, similar moments of tension ultimately forged stronger bonds among teammates and contributed to their unexpected NBA Finals appearances. Warriors veterans like Draymond Green, no stranger to passionate outbursts himself, likely understand Butler's intentions, even if the delivery seems harsh to outside observers. The upcoming week will reveal much about how the team processes Tuesday's events. If Hield responds with more aggressive play and improved shooting percentages, Butler's intervention will be viewed as a turning point. If the tension lingers or Hield's struggles continue, questions about team chemistry will intensify as the playoffs approach.
For Mark Lindsay and Brett Barnacle, Jonathan Sterling to blow the whistles, and how about Quentin Post opening with the three? You know, for Draymond, lure him into jumpers and hope that he's having an off night.
Yeah, he's shooting less than one a game. That's not what he wants to do. Kyle Kuzma, he can knock that down. He hasn't since he's joined the Bucks, but he is another.
For Kerr, the challenge extends beyond managing personalities. He must also navigate the physical limitations of his aging stars while maintaining competitive standing. Curry isn't the only Warrior showing signs of fatigue. The cumulative toll of the schedule has affected multiple rotation players, creating performance inconsistencies that have contributed to puzzling losses like Tuesday's defeat to a shorthanded Denver team. The Warriors' remaining schedule offers few opportunities for rest, with several games against teams fighting for playoff positioning. Managing minutes becomes a mathematical problem for Kerr. Every moment of rest for Curry potentially decreases win probability, yet pushing him too hard now might diminish his effectiveness when the games matter most. The road ahead remains challenging, with physical fatigue, mental pressure, and the relentless competition of the Western Conference all testing Golden State's resolve. But in Butler, they have a player who refuses to accept anything less than maximum effort, regardless of circumstances. For a team navigating the final chapter of a dynasty, this uncompromising approach might be exactly what they need.
Magic have a foul to give. Steph for three. Got it! Plus, put him to sleep. Night-night, the closer. And then Steph, that's as emotional as you'll ever see him. He is hyped.
Stephen Curry just dropped a bombshell about his true feelings on the Jimmy Butler trade, and it's nothing like what Warriors fans expected. The NBA's greatest shooter admitted he was bitter and upset when the deal first went down, calling it a whirlwind that left him emotionally torn. Now, as the Warriors start to click with Butler in the lineup, Curry's shocking confession adds a whole new twist to one of the season's biggest trades. In a candid interview on 95.7 The Game, Curry didn't hold back when discussing his immediate reaction to the trade that brought the six-time All-Star forward to Golden State.
But walk us through where you were at when you got the news that Jimmy was coming to town, and your thoughts.
That was a wild whirlwind of a day. We were about to play Utah, and rumors, talks, conversations, what ifs, and then it happens. So first you're upset because you're losing guys that you went to war with, Wiggs especially, who helped us win a championship and saw him flourish for the 5 years he was here.
The trade, which sent Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Lowry, and other valuable pieces to the Miami Heat in exchange for Butler, initially struck Curry as a disruption to the team's chemistry. Wiggins, who had been instrumental in the Warriors' 2022 championship run, was particularly difficult for Curry to see apart. Wiggs especially, who helped us win a championship and saw him flourish for the 5 years he was here, Curry said, highlighting the personal connection that made the business decision so difficult to process.
Went to war with, Wiggs especially, who helped us win a championship and saw him flourish for the 5 years he was here. Dennis, Kyle, Lindy, seeing them guys go who were a big part of early in the year. And then you think about the future. Yeah, we're excited that Jimmy was here. We were, again, understanding of who he was as a superstar, and the idea that he plays basketball a very similar way, trying to, as he would say, make the right play.
What makes this revelation particularly shocking is how it contrasts with Butler's enthusiastic reaction to joining the Warriors. Upon arriving in the Bay Area, Butler didn't hide his excitement about teaming up with the two-time MVP. "I get to play with Steph Curry, who I'm a fan of, just like 99.9% of the world," Butler had declared. The stark difference between Butler's enthusiasm and Curry's initial disappointment creates a compelling narrative about the complex human emotions behind major NBA trades. Let's see what Butler said before.
They say opposites attract in a lot of ways in life, and I don't think I could be a better complement to him and vice versa. They're not leaving him ever, so there's so much space for everybody else. I get the easy job. I'm playing one-on-one, or I'm playing in so much space, and then everybody's looking for him, and everybody's looking to get him open.
I think the idea, he's like the exact opposite player of me, which is kind of funny. Like, I'm shooting 16 threes, he shot one, got to the free throw line a lot. He's dominating the paint, I'm dominating the outside and the perimeter. Guys working around us has the potential to be really, really fun.
Curry wasn't alone in his distress. Fellow Warriors player Buddy Hield made an even more dramatic statement about the team's reaction to losing Wiggins. "It was emotional in that locker room. I was even more emotional because I wish it was me that got traded because Wiggs did so much for this franchise," Hield confessed, underscoring the depth of the team's initial resistance to the trade. The Butler deal came after months of increasingly public tension between the forward and Miami Heat president Pat Riley. What began as disagreements over Butler's contract value escalated dramatically after Butler missed the Heat's first-round playoff loss to Boston last season. Butler's claim that Miami would have won had he played prompted Riley's sharp retort, "If you're not on the court playing, you should keep your mouth shut." The deteriorating relationship reached its breaking point following what sources described as an emotional 2-hour meeting between Butler and Riley. Butler characterized the Heat president as unhinged and disturbing, claiming Riley gave him unsolicited and unwanted parenting advice and even told him he loved him through tears, allegations Riley firmly denies. This toxic environment ultimately facilitated Butler's move to Golden State, creating the very situation that initially upset Curry. What's perhaps most remarkable about this story is how dramatically Curry's perspective has shifted since those first difficult days. After working with Butler on the court, Curry now speaks highly of his new teammates' impact.
Seeing them guys go who were a big part of early in the year. And then you think about the future. Yeah, we're excited that Jimmy was here. We were, again, understanding of who he was as a superstar.